Hello everyone, Helen here. How are you doing? I do hope you're doing okay, and maybe better than me, because I've been poorly since I last chatted to you a week ago. Oh dear, oh dear. I'd meant to pop in at least once more before the normal weekly podcast, but it wasn't to be. I started with what I thought was a cold, and it ended up that it was actually COVID. The whole household is ill. I'm feeling a lot better, although I have quite an annoying cough. So if the video suddenly jumps, you'll know why. I've just cut out some coughing. Anyway, I've had quite a bit of time in bed, quite a few days where I didn't really feel like knitting. So you know you're ill when you just can't knit or crochet or something. Anyway, we're onward now. And I'm back to have a little bit of a chat with you today. So today I think we'll have a couple of carols to sing, and I've got a book to show you, and I've got the second half of the teddy bear advent parcels to show you as well. Oh, and I'm going to explain why these animals are here as well. So first of all, shall we sing something first? Let's sing maybe a less well-known carol. I don't know really how well known it is. It's called Past 3 o'clock, and it's a very old English tune. It's based on a tune that would have been sung by the city waits, or in other words, the people whose job it was to be watchers through the night, and they would sing little rhymes on the hour to let people know what time it was before the time then that you had your any kind of clock in your house normally. And so they would sing this. There were musicians who would go around singing at the hour as well. And it was only in later years that somebody called George Woodward sort of took the tune, adapted it a little bit, and wrote some words that sounded more ancient than the time that he lived in. He lived in the 19th century. The tune was from at least the 16th century, and George Woodward loved writing words that sounded really like old-fashioned. So I hope you're going to enjoy Past 3 o'clock. I'm so delighted by how many of you are really enjoying having some carols to sing along to. Well, my idea was I was just inviting you into my home, come and sit by my piano and have a little bit of a sing-song. I have to say, when I watch the videos back, I do look a bit serious. When I first realised I looked a bit serious, I tried videoing myself playing and smiling, and I just looked like a complete idiot. So so it just has to be serious. I'm concentrating, trying not to make mistakes, and trying to remember how many verses I've played as well quite often. So it's quite funny. Yes. Anyway, and I'm not singing along with it because one, I love singing along while I'm playing, but I do tend to make a lot of mistakes, and it doesn't matter if you've got like family singing around the piano, nobody minds. But I don't want to have loads of mistakes for you, and so I just want you to be able to hear the piano. Yes, and I am busy still compiling my list of all the places around the UK and Europe and America, all the places around the world where people are singing along from. And I will, I've got a map ready to show you. So I'm just giving it a few more days. So if you haven't told me yet where you're singing from, then do let me know and I'll add you to the map. Well, I won't put your name on the map, but I'm just putting the places on the map. So so that's great. I'm really, really loving that, and I'm so glad so many of you are as well. So, okay, I'm going to show you a little book now that I bought not so very long ago. It's a book by the author, well-known author, I think, Neil Gaiman, and he is an ambassador for the United Nations refugees section, and so he helps to promote promote awareness of refugees and ways of helping them. And quite some time back, he on social media asked people what it meant to them to be warm, and he had thousands of responses. And he gathered all these responses together and used them to inspire him to write a poem called "What You Need to Be Warm." And then Bloomsbury Publishing took the poem, invited the various illustrators to illustrate different parts of the poem, and then it was turned into a book. And obviously, wouldn't be surprised to know that proceeds from the book go to the United Nations refugees. I don't know what it's called, fund or whatever. Anyway, it's a really beautiful collection of thoughts about being warm and what it is maybe not to be warm. What You Need to Be Warm by Neil Gaiman. A baked potato of a winter's night to wrap your hands around or burn your mouth. A blanket knitted by your mother's cunning fingers or your grandmother's. A smile, a touch, trust as you walk in from the snow or return to it, the tips of your ears pricked pink and frozen. The tink, tink, tink of iron radiators waking in an old house. To surface from dreams in a bed burrowed beneath blankets and comforters. The change of state from cold to warm is all that matters. And you think, just one more minute snuggled here before you face the chill. Just one. Places we slept as children. They warm us in the memory. We travel to an inside from the outside, to the orange flames of the fireplace or the wood burning in the stove. Breath ice on the inside of windows to be scratched off with a fingernail, melted with a whole hand. Frost on the ground that stays in the shadows waiting for us. Wear a scarf, wear a coat, wear a sweater, wear socks, wear thick gloves. An infant as she sleeps between us, a tumble of dogs, a kindle of cats and kittens. Come inside, you're safe now. A kettle boiling at the stove. Your family or friends are there. They smile. Cocoa or chocolate, tea or coffee, soup or toddy. What you know you need. A heat exchange. They give it to you. You take the mug and start to thaw. While outside, for some of us, the journey began as we walked away from our grandparents' houses, away from the places we knew as children. Changes of state and state and state, to stumble across a stony desert, or to brave the deep waters. While food and friends, home, a bed, even a blanket become just memories. Sometimes it only takes a stranger in a dark place to hold out a badly knitted scarf, to offer a kind word. To say, we have the right to be here, to make us warm in the coldest season. You have the right to be here. So I find that a very touching poem. Obviously, I love the references to blankets and hats and scarves and things. And if you think about it, they don't just make you feel warm physically. They make you feel warm in a loved kind of way, like somebody cares about you if they've given you something handmade. So yes, and I'm sure Bloomsbury Publishing or Neil Gaiman won't mind that I've read the whole thing to you. I'm just raising awareness, helping them to raise awareness of the plight of refugees who do not have such a lovely, comfortable life as many of us do. So next, okay, I think I'm going to show you the more of Julian the Advent Teddy. So I've showed you days 1 to 6 and opening all the little parcels. And so today I'm going to show you days 7 to 12. And if you do happen to have one of these Advent calendars, then you'll have to look at the timestamps and leap over this bit, because I do not want to spoil any surprises for you if you haven't opened everything yet. But for the rest of us, let's have a look in all the little parcels. So I have absolutely loved every single moment of having the teddy bear advent. And I feel very, very lucky that I was able to have that. And it's not something I'll do every year. It wouldn't be a treat, I think, if I kept doing it year after year. But I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And Julian will be feeling very, very at home here. There are lots of friendly animals. It's already made a few friends, actually. Which brings me to the animals here. You might have been wondering why they were there. Sitting here quietly, patiently, in their little Christmassy scene. And they're there. I've set that up as a place for taking photos of them, really. In the first place, I wanted to have a setting for them for Christmas. These are all 9 of the knitted animals that I've made this year from the book Motion Friends. But then, as often happens, a little seed of a story started to come into my head. And so that was my next plan, was to use this little setting as part of photos for a story. But of course, because I've been poorly for a week, I'm a bit behind on that. So I don't think that's actually going to get done for this Christmas. But I thought, well, there's no harm in showing you one or two photos because I am going to return to the animals in the next podcast or the one after because it might be that there's been a special visitor to see them. Anyway, just take a look at the photos I've taken so far. So yes, there has been a little visitor sneaking in when the animals weren't looking and left a whole pile of parcels. What can be in the parcels? Well, you'll have to wait a bit longer to find out. And I will be helping the animals to open their gifts before Christmas. So just keep a lookout for my next podcast. If you haven't subscribed, then do that. And it's particularly useful to have clicked on the notifications bell because then it tells you whenever something new of mine pops up. And that's quite good when I'm maybe not doing it on the usual day of the week. Anyway, I think we'll finish off with another carol. And this one, I think, is more well known than the first one we did today. And that's called the Sussex Carol. And there really isn't much history to this one that I could find at all. It's called the Sussex Carol because the composer Vaughan Williams was going around different places in England, looking for new carols, new Christmas carols. And he discovered this one in the county of Sussex in southeast England, and that's why it became known as Sussex Carol. But otherwise, I can't find anything more about it than that. But it's a lovely carol. Well, that is going to be it for today. My voice has just about managed to hold out, and hopefully next time I chat to you it'll be even easier for me to speak to you. But until I see you again, keep nice and busy, but hopefully not frantically busy, a nice calm approach to Christmas, and take good care of yourself. I will be back again very soon. Okay then, bye.